The Me Too movement is in jeopardy, and that's not my opinion. It comes from a statement made by Rose McGowan not that long ago, where she said they were forwarding evidence to the police about Asia Argento. In this statement, she made more accusations against Argento, and because of this, Asia Argento is threatening to sue Rose McGowan for defamation, and now it looks like that suit will carry on. Many fans of both are accusing either actress of lying, and it's causing some division within the Me Too movement. But we also now have celebrities coming out, speaking ill of the Me Too movement, saying innocent people are being falsely accused, and Sean Penn has said it's only dividing men and women. So is it reaching the point where the Me Too movement is actually going to turn sour and people are going to turn on it? Perhaps, but first, let's take a look at the story about Rose McGowan and Asia Argento. From BuzzFeed News, Asia Argento is threatening legal action against Rose McGowan. The actor made the threat against her former friend in a tweet Monday after McGowan made a statement regarding sexual assault allegations against Argento. Actor Asia Argento, who is currently facing allegations of sexual assault against a minor, tweeted at Rose McGowan Monday demanding she retract and apologize for a statement she made about the accusations or face legal action. In August, the New York Times reported that Argento had settled a lawsuit in 2017 with actor Jimmy Bennett, in which he claimed she had sexually assaulted him in a California hotel room in 2013. At the time, Bennett was 17 and Argento was 37. Argento maintains that Bennett blackmailed her and her former partner Anthony Bourdain, who helped pay a $380,000 legal settlement. Prior to their apparent falling out, Argento and McGowan had been leading figures in the Me Too movement after both spoke out against Harvey Weinstein. In response to the allegations against Argento, Rose McGowan issued a rather long statement. I'm not going to read through most of it, but there is an important paragraph. McGowan says, "I received a phone call and series of messages from the being I've been dating, Rain Dove. They said they had been texting with Asia and that Asia had revealed that she had indeed slept with Jimmy Bennett. Rain also shared that Asia had stated that she'd been receiving unsolicited nudes of Jimmy since he had been 12. Asia mentioned in these texts that she didn't take any action on those images. No reporting to authorities, to the parents, or blocking of Jimmy's social media. Not even a simple message, don't send me these images, they're inappropriate. There were a few other details revealed as well that I'm not at liberty to mention in this statement as investigators do their job." She continues, "Rain Dove said that they were going to the police with these texts once we're done speaking no matter what, but that they wanted me to be aware of them so that I may be able to take further actions. I responded with, you have to, you must. I wasted no time. It wasn't hard to say or support. What was hard was the shell shock of the realization that everything the Me Too movement stood for was about to be in jeopardy. An hour after our conversations was finished, Rain Dove confirmed they had turned over the texts and were in conversation with officers. Almost 48 hours later, the texts were in the press." In response to that statement, just yesterday, Argento said, "Dear Rose McGowan, it is with genuine regret that I am giving you 24 hours to retract and apologize for the horrendous lies made against me in your statement of August 27th. If you fail to address this libel, I will have no option other than to take immediate legal action." Argento and McGowan are considered to be leaders in the Me Too movement, some of its most prominent voices, but now they're fighting, dividing supporters of the Me Too movement. Some people were saying that Argento is right and that Rose McGowan is lying about what actually happened, but many people on Rose McGowan's side are simply saying Asia is a predator who needs to be called out because that's what Me Too stands for. And Rose McGowan did just that. But we've seen photos. We've seen the text messages. It seems like the allegations made against Asia Argento are in fact true, that she was sleeping with a minor. We have seen the photos. But it may not be true that she was receiving nudes from Jimmy Bennett. This is where the defamation suit part comes in. Asia Argento published a screenshot of a tweet from Rain Dove. She said, "It was my mistake in interpreting the texts. You can tell even when I'm writing to Asia, I thought she meant that he had been sending nudes since 12, but indeed it's 17. Still underage nudes received. That was my mistake. I clarified today in the press and owned that." Argento said, "It is a shame that Rose McGowan is not prepared to accept when she is wrong. Rain Dove accepted she was wrong, but her tweet has been deleted. Rose's statement continues to make false claims. It's important to point out, she says the tweet was deleted. We only have the screenshot. It very well may be a fake screenshot, we don't know. But at any rate, whether or not the claim is true about receiving nudes from a 12-year-old, the tweet was deleted, so there is some conflict here as to which is true, 12 or 17. BuzzFeed highlights that Argento was liking a number of tweets in support of her, showing Rose McGowan as the big liar. But as of this morning, we have the next step in the controversy. Argento tweeted to Rose McGowan, The 24-hour deadline given to retract your recent false statements about me has now passed. I must inform you and Rain Dove Model that I've instructed Mishan D. Rea to seek substantial damages for deception, fraud, coercion, and libel. You will hear from them shortly. And this is where the true conflict comes in. Asia Argento, there are photos of her. If she did do this, and it looks like she did, there are texts, there are photos, there's admission, there's accusations, then she is someone the Me Too movement should be calling out, but she's resisting. Asia Argento has called for phase 2 of the Me Too movement, and this can only damage the credibility of those who actually are seeking justice. In fact, Argento's lawyer apparently is still claiming there was no relationship. At least that's what Rain Dove is saying. She tweeted, "Why is your attorney still saying your relationship wasn't sexual? Tell the truth, Asia Argento. Please, be the person you demand others to be and tell the truth." And she linked to a story from September 4th that said, Argento will not pay sexual assault accuser Jimmy Bennett remainder of $380K, lawyer says. Her relationship with Bennett was never sexual, but rather, the relationship was a long-distance friendship over many years, attorney Mark J. Heller says. And this is playing out exactly as you would expect it with anyone. Whenever someone is accused, they simply deny it, say it never happened. But even when we have text messages from Argento where she admitted to doing it, we've seen the photo of her in bed with Bennett, she is still denying it. The lawyers are saying it didn't happen. What happened to listen and believe? Argento is supposed to uphold these values and believe accusers, but when she becomes accused, she immediately backpedals. And what does that say for the credibility of those in the Me Too movement who actually are victims and need justice for the crimes committed against them? If even the leaders won't hold themselves to their own standards, people are going to question the Me Too movement. Now, this may actually result in the Me Too movement becoming stronger. Admittedly, there's conflict among fans of both, accusing one of being a liar or being a predator. But with Rose McGowan stepping up and even saying to her former friend, "You must do the right thing," it shows that McGowan, as one of the leaders, really does have integrity. If Argento is arrested or charged, and some real justice comes of this for Jimmy Bennett, then it only shows the Me Too movement does work, and there are people with integrity who are willing to step up and do what needs to be done. But we do have a statement from Sean Penn and some other examples of when things have gone wrong. From USA Today, Sean Penn downplays the Me Too movement as dividing men and women. They say, don't look to Sean Penn to be a full-throat supporter of Me Too. The Oscar-winning actor says much of the spirit of the movement is to divide men and women. Penn, 58, appeared on Monday's NBC's Today Show in a joint interview with Natasha McElhone, his co-star in the new Hulu show, The First, about a dangerous mission to Mars set in 2030. Penn is making his TV debut in the series. Usually, these promotional interviews on the morning chat shows are soft, short, uncontroversial, and not very deep. But Penn, who enjoys something of a reputation as a macho man, is not your usual celebrity guest. He and McElhone had polite but differing opinions of Me Too, the culture-changing movement to call out sexual harassment of women. The spirit of much of what has been the Me Too movement is to divide men and women, Penn declared. He said, I'm very suspicious of a movement that gets glommed onto in great stridency and rage and without nuance, he said. And even when people try to discuss it in a nuanced way, the nuance itself is attacked. The trouble, he said, is a failure to see shades of gray. I think it's too black and white. In most things that are very important, it's really good to just slow down. He adds, I think it's influenced by the things that are developing in terms of the empowerment of women, who've been acknowledging each other and are being acknowledged by men. At one point, Penn told interviewer Natalie Morales that Me Too is a movement that was largely shouldered by a kind of receptacle of the salacious. What? Morales asked him. Well, we don't know what's a fact in many cases, he said. Salacious is as soon as you call something a movement that is really a series of many individual accusers, victims, accusations, some of which are unfounded. Morales protested that women say Me Too is uniting women. Penn pushed back. I'm going to say that women I talk to, not in front of a camera, that I listen to, of all walks of life, that there's a common sense that is not represented at all in the discussion when it comes to media discussions of it. The discussion where if Sean Penn says this, so-and-so is going to attack him for saying this because of that, he said. I can only imagine that this is going to result in some negative consequences for Sean Penn because look at what happened with Norm Macdonald just this past week. He simply said it was good that Me Too was slowing down because people like Chris Hardwick were essentially falsely accused, and after a thorough investigation, he got his job back. Because of this, his Tonight Show appearance was canceled. So simply criticizing the failures of the Me Too movement resulted in someone being negatively impacted. Now we have Sean Penn saying something very similar. It seems like there are high-profile individuals willing to come up and point out that not all of the Me Too movement is good. But look, it doesn't need to be. The Me Too movement has done really great things. There are terrible monsters who work at these companies, and it's great that they're being removed because that kind of behavior that exists in these companies should not exist. We can't just say listen and believe, because that implies we aren't going to listen and believe those who are falsely accused. And whether or not they are more falsely accused or less isn't the point. The point is we always must protect the innocent. It is the foundation of our legal system. Many of these people are simply being accused, and we don't necessarily know what is true or isn't. In some circumstances, we absolutely do. And it's great that people who do commit these crimes are removed. But what about Chris Hardwick? When he was removed from his show from unfounded accusations? What about when people are falsely accused? It does happen. And we don't want the innocent to suffer. It is an authoritarian position if you believe it is okay that innocent people suffer in exchange for some kind of justice. Because you have to remove yourself from that particular anecdotal scenario. Think about empowering a system that is willing to imprison the innocent in the hopes of capturing the guilty. This means that there will come a time where the guilty will escape because you were satisfied with punishing an innocent person. That it was better to simply lock this person up because maybe he is a bad person. But that means, in some cases, you'll actually stop looking for the actual perpetrators. We must do everything we can to protect the innocent, be it the victim of sexual abuse, a supporter of the metoo movement, or someone who is falsely accused. And that means we do need evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a double-edged sword sometimes. It means bad guys can get away, but we have to do our best to protect the innocent. It's the only thing we can do if we want to live in a free society and we want real justice. So let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll keep the conversation going. You can follow me on Twitter at Timcast. Stay tuned. New videos every day at 4 p.m. and more videos coming up on my second channel, youtube.com/TimCastNews at 6 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time.